Today I decided to do another live video for y'all. I've been doing lots of live videos lately. I just wanted to show y'all some cool licks. Hold on one second. This bone right here. I guess that's what happens when you got a dirty bang right here. There you go. Okay, thanks for watching, Bob. I appreciate it. This right here is That's my Marshall amplifier that I'm doing. And, well, given it reason for, examples here, sorry about the light. The light is blaring. I mean, dude. But, it's taken me about 10 years to learn how to play like I have, so, and I'm almost 20. So, yeah, it's taken a long time to get that good. Thanks for the nice music. I appreciate it. Doing it for you. Well, believe it or not, the piano is actually very similar to the guitar. You can play on electric guitar 2 octaves or 3 octaves if you count these. So basically, you get 3 octaves of what the grand piano does, but except you can't go as low by 1 octave and you can't go as high by 2 octaves. So in other words, on a piano, if it has 88 keys or whatever, you can go 2 octaves higher than the guitar, and then on the low side, you can go 1 octave lower. So basically, if you know all the notes on the piano and you know how to play pretty good on the piano, which I'm assuming you do, um, you're pretty good at the guitar. Believe it or not. All you need to know is the major notes on the piano, and you can basically apply them to the frets on the guitar. Uh, Thanks, Felipe, for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Okay, so we're going to do You're in Love by Rax. that was You're in Love. Alright, so thanks for subscribing. My cushion knows how to play. Alright, guitar, I subscribe. Thanks. Thanks for subscribing. I post videos almost every other day. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's not. Later on today, I posted a video, one of my own creations. Please feel free to look at it. It's on my Crown of Ash album playlist. It's got about 4 songs on it, and it's got the red sticker on the front. Please like it and comment when you get the chance. Alright, next one, we're going to be, instead of in a drop tuning, like we are right now, we're going to tune to a standard tuning. Alright, this song is called Never Use Love. When are you live? When this live finishes? I try to do it every, sometimes I do it on Mondays, sometimes I do it on Wednesdays, and sometimes I do it on Sundays. So between Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, and it's usually always between 3 o'clock or earlier on in the afternoon at about 5 o'clock. So expect a live maybe at that time period during the week. And I try to post as many other videos every other day or every day in the week beyond that. So if you miss a live video, you can still raunchy on with me. I'll keep that in mind. Hello, RT. Thanks for watching. We're doing stuff by Rat today. If you know about that band, please search them up if you don't. This song right here is a song called Wanted Man. Okay. Not bad. Alright, so that was some of my rat stuff. Now we're going to do a little bit of Ted Nugent. If you know about Ted Nugent, Crazy Uncle Ted, the guy over there, all the way over there, I think it's Mississippi area, or it's Minnesota, way up there, high in the element. But he is an awesome guitar player. We're going to play a few songs by him. So we're going to do Stranglehold. Then we're going to do Cat Scratch Fever. I think that's all the songs I know about. No, actually, then we're going to do Fred Bear. That's a beautiful song. You should check it out. That means that you are a number one fan. I don't exactly know what the number one fan's about, but if you kind of think about it, it kind of makes sense. You're one of the, YouTube believes that you're one of my favorite viewers in this particular live video. I have lots of number one fans, but I think I have like 2 or 3 right now at this moment. So that just means that you were like one of the first people on this live video, and you had a lot of reactions to what I was doing, so it considered you a number one fan. And then this guy down here is number 3 because he's viewed some of my videos before in the future. I mean, not in the future, in the past. Okay, so this is Ted Nugent. Name of this song right here is Stranglehold. Now we're gonna do Fred Bear. No pick this time. Alright, then we're gonna do the last song by Ted Nugent. That's not the whole song. I don't know how to play the whole thing. If I had the other phone going on right now, I would jam through the entire track. But this is another song, my favorite, about him, and Cat Scratch Fever. Right before we end this video, we're going to do one last artist that is a humongous influence of mine. This is Ozzy. This is Bark at the Moon. Yep, and that was the end of this live video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate that. Till then, see y'all later.